And my two favorite bands of all time are Modest Mouse and Dinosaur Jr. So I like to show other people my music. So I thought for my senior project, I'll get on the radio. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to have my own radio show, and I'm going to show all the music that I love, and it's going to be great. So I made some playlists. With my favorite artists like XTC and Pavement and Sephido and Blood, Sweat, and Tears. I thought these would be great for on-air time. And so in order to get a radio show, Mr. B told me about Co-op Austin Community Radio, which is a place where you can go to get your programming certificate and be on the air, and you can also get an airtime if you want. But the way that they need to do this, you need to volunteer, you need to attend the station meetings, and you need to shadow other programmers, and then take a test to get your certificate. Well, I was having trouble getting to these meetings since they were in downtown Austin, and the process that it would take to become a programmer would take 3 to 4 months, and we started this in November. I didn't have 3 to 4 months because by the time I would have been done, we would have been getting out for school. So I started, at the same time I was working on getting a programming certificate, I was also investing a lot of my time in the school's MNTHS Tech roller derby team, which was founded 2 years ago by Miss Bailey and a few students, and it's actually one of 2 schools in the state that have, the only 2 schools in the state that have a roller derby team. So imagine this. A 6-day roller skating competition. 6 days long. Okay, so 36 skaters in 1885 competed for $500 in prize money, which at the time, in 1885, that's a lot of money. They competed for this money for skating for 6 days. It was a go-as-you-please skating competition, and whoever won, or whoever lasted the longest would win. The winners, William Donovan and Jason Cohen, actually died from this race. This is a snippet of the article from 1885 about how this boy, or man, I'm not sure how old he was, winner of the tournament, died. It said that, in the article it said that he had pre-existing medical conditions, and so when he got into the race, after working for 6 days, that's a long time skating. I wouldn't skate for $500 for 6 days. But for doing that for 6 days, he ended up triggering those pre-existing medical conditions and dying a few days later. Well, from this, popularity grew. Even though they died, it wasn't a sport yet, but this idea grew in popularity. So, because there was a crowd around the skaters, they would push and trip them as they went by, and because of this, it wasn't considered a real sport. But a few years later, a man named Leo A. Seltzer decided that he would make it a real sport. He combined it with, they also had 6-day bicycle races. So he combined that idea with the idea of roller skating, so these races that they've already had, and he wanted to make it into a team, a roller derby team. But at the time, this is technically speed skating, it's not roller derby as it's known today. So, Transcontinental Roller Derby was born. In this, it was a cross-country simulation of people skating. So they skated on a track similar to this. It was a wooden track, oval, and these skaters were supposed to skate the equivalent of 3,000 miles, which would be the length of going, well, it was supposed to simulate going across the country. And they would skate 11 and a half hours a day to reach this 3,000 mile mark. And 16 teams dropped out, 9 teams finished, And one team did win, and they actually were in the lead for 11 days prior to the end of the race, which showed that the other people just kind of gave up. So during this race and other races that were held, there was like collisions and crashes among the skaters because when they were trying to pass one another, and the crowd thought it was exciting. So Leo A. Seltzer decided to tweak the already known roller derby sport and make it to where you could have physical contact. So there was physical contact from the top of the elbow to the bottom of like your thigh, and also he also when he changed the rules, he added whipping, which is kind of like, it sounds harsh, but it's it's actually like in NASCAR. I can't remember the name of it. Oh, it's slingshot. When they slingshot people, like when they hook onto the tailgate and then they shoot them off to help them out or something. I don't know if they do that in NASCAR. Anyway, you would be skating and you would kind of slow down-ish, and you'd stick your arm out like this, and a girl would grab on you, fling them forward, and then they go. Usually it's your teammate. You wouldn't do that to another player. But because of this race and the sport growing and it being awesome and growing in popularity, at 8:30 p.m. on November 29th, 1948, it aired on TV, on New York TV. It was great. And from there the sport grew. It was honed, like the rules were honed, the players honed their skills, and it became the sport as it's known today. Okay, so how roller derby is played. This little rink right here is what we use, and then that little cluster of circles, it has 2 dots with stripes in the middle, and then the other dots are just regular pack players. This little grouping is called a pack, and these 2 stars are jammers. So the point of the game is that your jammers have to get through this little pack, which has a mixture of the opposing team and or 2 teams. It's a mixture of 2 teams. Like the pink team and the blue team, just for the sake of the diagram. And then, so say you're in the blue cluster, girls, you're helping your blue star, which is a jammer. Those 2 are jammers. They're supposed to get through the grouping, go around and come back to the grouping to get through again, and each girl that they pass, or each person that they pass, they get a point. And if you're lead jammer, which means you get through the pack first, you get extra points for getting first. And so your job in the pack is supposed to block your opposing jammer from getting past and help your jammer get through. And the little circles with the lines are the pivots, and they control how fast the group goes. You cannot go past your pivot, or that's called chasing, or you can't go too far behind your pivot. Either way, you can get a penalty for being too far or too behind. And in this picture, that's just a real life view of those little diagrams. But this is the girl, she's a pivot, and then there's their jammer. And then the other girls without, these are called panties, by the way. They're like little spandex outfits for your helmets. And the other girls that aren't wearing them are just part of the pack. So, I told you that as I was trying to do the radio station, I had a lot of fun with the MNTHS. So this is our logo. It's really awesome. As I told you, we're one of 2 schools in Texas that have a roller derby team, which is really great. So because I like it so much, I started to devote a bunch of my time to it. And well, this was our first and only meet, but it was still awesome. Devoting my time to it, we needed support and fundraising for next year's girls in case we needed to buy new gear, or if they needed it for anything else, if we needed a bus ride over to another place to go skate or something. So, but this is us at the roller derby match. We were facing Ann Richards, They're not in this picture because they're not as important. But this was my leg after the game. It's a pretty rough game, but it's a lot of fun. Like, I had bruises all over my leg that stayed there for about 3 weeks, and there's me right there. And my derby name is Goldie Blocks because I have gold hair. So, as the fundraising that I was talking about, I was trying to make some more money so that next year's girls could have gear if they needed it, because we were already reusing gear as it was. So I made buttons. And at first we were going to sell them, but we decided they were too awesome to sell, that we should give them out. And I made buttons for each one of the girls on the team. Oh, this is actually not one of the girls on the team, but that was one of the kids that skated with us. But we also designed the shirt, the logo on the shirt. I made it on Photoshop. Oh, I forgot to talk about that. My Photoshop skills are awesome. After attending the school, like prior to attending the school, I had no idea how to use Photoshop whatsoever. But then I took a class with Ms. Harden, and she taught me how to do it, and so I was able to make these buttons on Photoshop for our team, and also the logo for our team. And then I guess it's kind of become a tradition of our team, so we make sure to put on Crazy Blue Tech on the back. They did it last year too, so it was pretty cool. And I also made this flyer for selling the shirts because, again, I was trying to fundraise. So not only is roller derby an awesome sport, but it's also great exercise. A person 143 pounds can burn around 600 calories in an hour. That's great. Like, you don't even know it's exercise, and you're just doing it. And the average person goes about 6 miles an hour, and you can still burn 300 calories doing that. It's great. So not only is it burning a lot of calories, but it's good on your muscles and your joints because it's a low impact. It's low impact on your joints. So it's like better for you than running. Well, not better, but I mean, if you have problems with your joints, you're still able to skate. So anybody can play roller derby. And then it's also mentally uplifting because exercising creates more serotonin output in your brain, which makes you happier. Also, it uses all major muscle groups, so you get lots of exercise. And coming back from all of this, with my original idea being the radio station, I mean, it didn't work out, but that's okay, because I had a lot of fun with the roller derby team. And even though I wasn't one of the best players, I could say that, because there were really good girls on this team. But I've always felt if I didn't match up in skill, I could always bring something to the table, like in the game. Like sometimes if somebody missed somebody, then I could, you know, bust them out of the way or get in their way at least so they could slow down, like, and I could, I was kind of fast, so I could go around, but I had trouble getting out of the pack most of the time, but I still had a lot of fun, and it was great, and it was fun being a part of something that was greater than myself. And